Welcome to this vlog where we're going to be talking about my journey from Chennai, India to Singapore as a layover stop on my way to Manila, Philippines. I'm traveling a budget airline Scoot, which is a no frills version of Singapore Airlines, and my flight is not quite ready to board, so I'm going to be walking around and just exploring the shops and some real great artwork in the Chennai airport, and maybe also grab a little bit of food before my flight is really ready for boarding. I have a few hours here, so I'm going to get some food and then also maybe spend some time just catching up on some work, and then eventually, I think my flight leaves about past midnight. So once it's ready to board, as you can see here, we'll be lining up to get onto the plane. It's a pretty bare bones airline, so I'm not expecting too much. As you can see, it's no frills to the best extent possible. Seats are pretty basic. But I think I'm not complaining as it's an overnight flight. And as we take off here from Chennai, I'm honestly ready to fall asleep. And once I land, it'll be morning in in Singapore. So that should not be too bad. I think the flight is pretty short, total maybe about 4 hours. And with time zone difference, it's leaves past midnight here in Chennai, and then we get in about 6:30 a.m. in Singapore, so it's perfect timing. So you can catch a good rest if you're one of those savvy travelers who can squeeze into any seat and fall asleep. Thankfully, I'm still in that category, so I'm not complaining. You can see the beautiful view of Chennai as we take off here. I think the airport definitely needs a little bit more modernization compared to the other airports in other cities in India, but not too bad overall. Early morning here in Singapore, you can see the beautiful sunrise from the aircraft, and you can see the bay in the Singapore Ocean, all the ships lined up and docked in the Singapore Bay, waiting to perhaps get into the port. I think it was a pretty decent flight. I'm not complaining too much, but I think first time flying Scoot, it was an overall positive experience. Getting to Changi was something I've been looking forward to for a long time. It's one of the best airports in the world. You can see the beautiful setup here in Changi. I think this is one of the most well reviewed as well as well connected airports in the world. And my goal right now is to get to the downtown area. I'll be taking the MRT via the east-west connector first to a stop called Expo. And then from Expo, you have to take the downtown line, which is the next connecting service, which is pretty well connected, I would say. One quick tip is to get the tourist pass if you're doing a stopover. It's about 17 Singapore dollars, and it is a fantastic, worth the money because you get unlimited rides on the MRT for that specific day. So definitely look into that if you're interested in going around Singapore and not planning to get a Grab or some other kind of taxi cab. You reach the Marina Sands area pretty quick. I think about 40 minutes, something like that. And you get out of the MRT station, you reach the Marina Bay Mall, and then you come out of that, you see the wonderful Marina Bay Gardens. So that's the one of the tourist attractions that you should definitely not miss. I think these are the fantastic gardens you can see here in the background, and something that I think requires a little bit more of a longer trip. If you can make it and want to do the full tour, you should spend a few hours there. This is kind of a Venice-like mall inside. If you look at it, it's really plush and lots of great shopping that you can do if you're really up for it. Lots of food and restaurants to hang around and spend some time. But I think the main attraction for everyone in Singapore definitely happens to be the Merlion, the national symbol of Singapore. So you can see that in the background. It's a bit of a walk from the MRT station, so plan for that. But a lot of crowd here, and you can see the Marina Bay Sands Hotel, which is another popular landmark in the background. So that's pretty good as well. And to get here, I think it took me about 15, 20 plus minutes of a walk in the Singapore heat. So that's saying quite a bit, I think, in terms of getting across from one spot to the other in the heat is no mean task. So once you get to the Merlion, it's pretty easy to get back to the MRT from there. And my next stop was the Chinatown. Unfortunately, it was raining, so I spent most of my time indoors inside the mall, which was pretty good. Very, very unique mall, obviously in Chinatown. So most of the shops and restaurants and the cafes here were pretty much mostly around the Chinese theme. I didn't really honestly try out the menu here because most of the food here was not compatible with my vegetarian palate. So I think it was good to just walk around and get a glimpse of the various coffee shops and the cafes in the mall. So the Chinatown itself is a pretty solid attraction. I also did stop to take a quick peek at Little India, which I don't have a very solid video because of the rain once again. But that's another pretty good spot to check out. If you're from India and you're interested, you can definitely check that out. Another highlight of Changi is the Jewel, which is near Terminal 1. So you actually have to come out of the immigration area to come to the spot. But it's a fantastic indoor waterfall and totally worth visiting if you can find the time for it. I think it's a short walk, about maybe 5 to 10 minutes from Terminal 1, but definitely check it out. And depending on where you're heading back to Changi from, you may have to also look at getting off on Tanah Merah, which is a different station, and you can get on that station before you get to Changi. So it's along the same lines as the Expo. So now I'm back at Changi. I took the MRT back, which is again pretty quick. And I have several hours to spend still here at Changi, so I'm gonna just walk around. One of the cool things here with Changi is that there's plenty to do inside of Changi, so you can see lots of beautiful cafes and shops and things to do inside each terminal. There's about 3 core terminals: Terminal 1, 2, 3, and they're all connected internally with this, I think, the SkyTrain. So you can get around from one to the other pretty easily. But for the most part, I spend my time in Terminal 1, checking out all the shops, getting some food, and then eventually you can find some good spots to sit. I would say that I was a bit disappointed with the overall infrastructure with just charging points, but otherwise I would give Changi maybe a 9 out of 10. So we're back on our flight and ready to head back now to our next destination, which is Manila, again on Scoot. Very nice stopover in Singapore. I think it was totally well worth it. Although the total layover on the Scoot flight was about almost, I would say, 17 hours. It was definitely something that was useful for me to just check out Singapore in general and not have to burn a hole in my pocket with an extra day spent in Singapore per se. So I think if you're interested in doing the layover tours, this is definitely a good option to try out. And for most folks, you can get around Singapore. You can get a transit visa if you are from one of the countries that needs one. For me personally, as a individual with a US passport, I didn't have a need for a visa for Singapore, so that definitely makes it very convenient. You just have to scan through your passport at the immigration, and it's mostly self-service, and you just scan your passport and you're out and in very quickly. So I think in that regard, a Singapore stopover is definitely a practical solution for anyone who wants to quickly check out Singapore but maybe has either time or budget constraints. So I'm looking forward to being back in Singapore in a few days, but for now we're ready to land here in Manila, and we'll be talking about the experiences in Manila in a different vlog, so definitely like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, and see you in my next vlog.